There is way too many videos out there right now about telling people how to rank up in Rocket League, from different playstyles you need to learn, to different mechanics you should practice, to when to challenge and when not to challenge, how often should you go in free play, when should you use workshop maps. It's way too complicated, and naturally, you're going to be confused. Luckily, I have been coaching people and I've analyzed every single rank, and so I'm going to tell you the massive mistakes that every single rank makes and how to fix them today. The first mistake is going to be boost management. Now, how many times have you caught yourself driving away for a big boost, driving back in the play, and you're at the exact same boost that you started out with? I've seen this happen multiple times, and honestly, it's a very common issue. If you do this, it's not the end of the world, but you could have had such a better opportunity staying in the play opposed to leaving the play to grab boost, coming back into play, and you're in the exact same position you started out with. It's always better to be in the play with low boost than out of the play with no boost. The next mistake is going to be rotation. The amount of times I've seen someone rotate ball side and cut off their teammate and block the ball from their teammate, it's insane. You should almost always be rotating back posts, and a main reason for this is there's more pads on the back post of the ball, because the ball is usually on a wall and there's no pads on the wall. The majority of the pads are in the center of the field, so if you rotate through the center of the field, you're going to have more boost, your teammate is going to go for the ball, and you're going to be in a better position for the next play. Even if you don't cut off your teammate, you're not even going to be ready to go for the next ball because you're facing the wrong direction. The next mistake I see very often is positioning, especially on offense. If you have a teammate trying to get the ball middle and you're right in front of the opponent's net, you're not going to be able to score that ball because you're significantly too close to the net. You need to be far back enough where if the ball comes to you, you can go for it, but not too close to where the ball's going to go over you and it's just going to go straight in your net. Remember, you're the last man when you're waiting, so you don't want to throw yourself out of the play. Which leads me to my next mistake I see all the time is when to challenge, especially as last man. There's a lot of different inputs on this and a lot of different opinions, but in my opinion, I think that if you're last man, you should never challenge. That's a pretty safe way of looking at it. In my eyes, you should just be trying to stall for your teammate to get back when you're last, because if you go, it will just be open if they get it over you. Now, sometimes it can be good to throw off your opponent, but I think in a general sense, it's super good to always just wait for your teammate, stall, fake challenge, do as much as you can to wait for your teammate to get back. That brings us to our next tip, over rotating in Rocket League. How many times has your teammate tried to get a ball middle, but you're in your corner grabbing a boost? It's much better to be in the play with zero boost than to be out of the play with no boost. That applies for everything. So if your teammate's trying to get the ball middle, sacrifice, have low boost to be an available teammate. That's going to more times than not end up in a goal. And the worst case scenario for this situation is when you are going back, if your teammate tries to get it mid and he doesn't realize that you're in your own corner, if the opponents get a ball, it's just a free 1v2. They'll have a free possession, one of them goes for the bump, and if it's a high rank or a high enough rank, you are not going to save the ball. It's just not going to happen. So that's just another reason why you should be in the play with your teammate, so that you don't leave yourself in a 1v2. It just makes your own defense easier, retaking to defense with your team. This brings us to our next mistake, overthinking improvement. We have to ask ourselves, how do we improve in Rocket League, right? And there's a few different ways of looking at it. In my opinion, if you can focus on these 4 things, you will rank up in Rocket League. Your mechanics, your game sense, your positioning, and your team play. These are absolutely crucial. Once you have a basic grasp on playing the game, these are the 4 pillars that you need to work on if you want to improve in Rocket League. So stop overthinking your settings and all the common myths floating around the scene. Just focus on the 4 things that truly matter. Mechanics are developed through training it actively by utilizing free play, or workshop maps, or trading packs. Game sense is worked on primarily by using your brain. Think about why you do what you do during the game. Learn from your mistakes and your game sense will improve tremendously. Positioning just gives you 3 goals if you're at the right place at the right time. You can easily catch people out of position. Team play is just as important, but this can be combined with positioning. It's also the core of the game itself, so just pay attention to what your teammates are doing while you play. With all this being said, I hope you understand that your rank really doesn't matter. Like I say in a lot of my videos, your rank is just a PNG, and honestly, it's a poor indicator of your skill. Your rank does not matter. then you need to be focusing on these things if you want to improve in Rocket League.